I woke to the sound of my dog licking my face. Soft, rhythmic, wet. I smiled, until I realized he'd been dead for 3 days. The power was out, the house silent, and whatever was beside me in the dark wasn't breathing. It just kept licking, like it was savoring something. And then, slowly, it began to whimper in my voice. ID moved to Black Pines to reset. City burnout, a crumbling relationship, and too many sleepless nights had left me hollow. The cabin, nestled deep in the northern woods, was supposed to be peace. No Wi-Fi, no neighbors, just trees, snow, and silence. The rental listing called it serene. The owner, an old man with milky eyes and a voice like dry leaves, only said, "It keeps to itself." The first night was uneventful. Too quiet, maybe. No owls, no wind in the pines. Just a thick, watchful stillness. My dog, Rex, usually fearless, refused to go near the tree line. He'd bark once, sharp and low, then retreat to my side, ears flat, tail tucked. I chalked it up to the newness, the wildness of the place. But then came the smell. Not rot, something worse. Like wet fur left in a closed car for weeks. It clung to the back porch, strongest near the old well, its wooden cover warped and nailed shut. The realtor hadn't mentioned that. Or the scratches on the inside of the doorframe. Deep parallel grooves, too high for any dog. I found the first photo in a drawer I hadn't opened. Faded, curled at the edges. A family, smiling, standing in front of the cabin. All of them, even the dog. Except the dog's eyes. They weren't right. Too wide, too aware. And its smile, stretched, unnatural, like its jaws had been pried open for the shot. That night, Rex didn't come when I called. I found him lying by the hearth, perfectly still. First, I thought he was sleeping. Then I saw the foam crusted at his lips, the glassy film over his eyes. The vet said poisoning, rat bait, maybe. But there were no traps, no signs of struggle. Just that same sour stench of wet fur. They buried him at dusk. I stood there, numb, as the earth swallowed the little coffin. When I turned back to the cabin, the back door was open, and from the dark of the hallway, something gave a soft, familiar whine. The whine came again, Rex's exact tone when he wanted to go out. My breath caught. I stood frozen at the edge of the tree line, the shovel still in my hand, dirt caked under my nails. He was buried. I'd seen the coffin go into the ground. I'd felt the weight of the earth. But the sound, it was him. I stepped inside, heart hammering. The cabin was cold, the fire dead. No footprints, no mud, nothing out of place except the well cover. The nails were bent outward, as if something had pried them up from inside. The stench of wet fur was back, stronger now, clinging to the walls like mold. That night I woke to scratching, not at the door, under the bed. Slow, deliberate drags of something sharp against wood. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The mattress dipped, just slightly near my feet. Then warmth. A heavy weight pressing up, inch by inch, like something was crawling beneath the sheets with me. I snapped on the light. Nothing. But the blanket was wet. Soaked in a long trail from the foot of the bed to my chest. And the smell, God, the smell. Like a drowned dog left to rot in summer heat. The next morning I found paw prints. Not outside. Inside. Leading from the hallway to my bedroom, and then vanishing at the foot of the bed. The back door was locked. No tracks in the snow. Then came the sounds. At first it was just whimpering, soft, broken. Exactly like Rex when he was scared. I'd turn and it would stop. Then, laughter. My own voice, low and distorted, echoing from the basement. I didn't have a basement. I started checking the well every hour. The cover stayed open. Once, I swore I saw something pale and slick slithering back into the dark. Another time, I heard slow, wet breathing rising from the stones. And then the photos started changing. I found the same family picture on the kitchen table. Flipped over, the glass was cracked. But now, the dog in the photo, its head was turned, staring straight at the camera. At me. Its mouth hung open, teeth too long, too many. That night, I stopped sleeping. I sat by the fire with a knife, eyes on the door. Around 3 a.m., the whining returned, right behind me. I spun around. The dog bed in the corner was moving. Something was in it, curled up, breathing, formatted, dripping black fluid onto the floorboards. It lifted its head, eyes wide, mouth stretched in a grin, and when it looked at me, it didn't bark. It spoke, in my voice. You shouldn't have left me down there. The thing in the dog bed didn't move. It just stared at me with eyes too large, too wet, like glass marbles dipped in motor oil. Its fur clung in clumps, peeling away from something beneath that wasn't skin, wasn't muscle, but a slick, pulsing membrane that shimmered in the firelight. And its mouth, it stayed open, unhinged like a snake's, revealing rows of needle-thin teeth glistening with dark fluid. But it wasn't the face that broke me. It was the voice. You shouldn't have left me down there, it said again. My voice, yes, but layered. Beneath it, something deeper, guttural, like stones grinding in a throat too small to hold them. And beneath that, Rex's whimper, faint, trapped. I backed toward the door, knife raised, pulse roaring in my ears. The fire sputtered, shadows stretched. The thing slowly uncurled, limbs unfolding, wrong joints bending backward, spine arching like a bow. It didn't walk. It slid forward, belly low, dragging itself across the floor with a wet, sucking sound. Then it stopped, and laughed. My laugh. The one I made when I was nervous. The one my ex used to hate. I turned and ran. The front door wouldn't open. The lock hadn't been touched, but the wood around it was swollen, warped, as if the frame had sealed itself shut. I slammed my shoulder into it, once, twice, before spinning around. It was closer, now in the hallway, now standing. Its head brushed the ceiling. And then it spoke again, not with my voice this time, but with the old man who rented me the cabin. It keeps to itself, it whispered, perfectly mimicking his dry rasp. But only if you feed it. A memory tore through me. The realtor's warning, the nailed-shut well, the family photo. They hadn't left. They'd been taken, one by one. And whatever lived in that well, it didn't just wear their faces. It wore their lives. The thing took another step. The fire died. Darkness swallowed the room. I felt it before I saw it. The heat of its breath on my neck, the stench of decay in my nose, the wet tap of its claws on the floor behind me. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. Then warmth on my cheek. The tongue. Long, rough, familiar, licking, savoring. And in the silence, a whisper. Rex's whimper. My voice. The old man's cough. All tangled together. You're home now. I woke up screaming. No, I tried to. But my mouth wouldn't open. My body wouldn't move. I was lying in bed. Morning light seeped through the curtains. Birds chirped. The cabin was quiet. Normal. I exhaled. A dream. It had to be. Then I felt it. Deep in my chest. Beneath my ribs. Something stirring. A slow, wet breath that wasn't mine. And from inside me, so faint I almost missed it, a dog's whimper. And then, from the well outside, fresh dirt shifting. Something answering back. I don't sleep anymore. Not really. I close my eyes, and I feel it. Something beneath my skin, shifting when I'm quiet, pressing against my ribs like a second heartbeat. The doctors found nothing. No fever, no parasites, no tumors. Just me, they said. Stress, grief, isolation. They handed me pills and called it treatment. But I know what's inside. It speaks in fragments now. Rex's whine when I pass the tree line. My own voice whispering from the back of my throat when I'm alone. Sometimes, in the mirror, my lips move just a second too late. My eyes, they linger on the dark corners a little too long. Like they're looking for something, or remembering. I've stopped going outside after dusk. The well is sealed again. Concrete poured over it, iron rods welded across. But every night, I hear the dirt shifting. Soft, patient, and the smell returns. Wet fur, rot, something ancient and hungry. Creeping under the door, coiling in the air like smoke. I found another photo yesterday. On my pillow, the same family, but now I'm in it, standing at the edge of the frame, face blurred, eyes black. The dog is gone. In its place, a shape hunched wrong, standing where I once stood in life. I don't know when it started wearing me down, or if I'm still me at all. The worst part? I don't want to leave. This cabin, it knows me now. It breathes with me, feeds with me, and sometimes, when the wind dies and the trees go still, I hear other voices from deep in the woods, whimpering, crying, calling for help in voices that sound just like mine. They're not alone down there, and I won't be either, because last night, I caught myself standing at the edge of the well, shovel in hand, dirt under my nails, whispering into the dark. I'm ready. Sometimes, in the mirror, my lips move just a second too late. My eyes, they linger on the dark corners a little too long, like they're looking for something, or remembering. And from below, something licked its lips.